What's up, it's Jimfro from ReadyCheck Pull. We got to test the Guardian of the First One's boss in the new raid Sanctum of Domination coming out in 9.1. The full guide will be out later on, but for now, here's a little preview. Guardian of the First Ones is a throughput check for the entire raid, DPS, tanks, and healers. There's only a handful of mechanics, but they're super straightforward and they play out really well, making this one of the best patchwork style fights we've seen in a while. The overall idea of the boss is that it loses energy over time and starts trying to wipe the raid after it gets to 0 energy. But you can delay the wipe and charge the boss back up by bringing it to one of these energy cores around the room. However, there's only 3 cores, so this means you have a limited amount of time to kill the boss. So here's how we think the strat will play out. You'll tank the boss towards the middle of the room and dodge some stuff until the boss runs out of energy and starts casting Purging Protocol, which is that raid wiping ability we mentioned earlier. The boss spams this ability and it hits harder every time it's cast. You can easily survive the first cast, but then you gotta decide if you want to try living through a second cast or a third cast with raid cooldowns before moving the boss to an energy core. Basically, every cast you survive adds 5 seconds to the total amount of time you have to kill the boss, and this is a DPS check, so surviving a few casts might be necessary. When you move the boss to a core, everyone else in the raid needs to be ready to immediately move into the shield it puts out, because it will almost instantly kill anyone outside of it. The shield massively reduces the pulsing damage everyone takes from the linked core, but it's still a ton of damage that the healers will need to deal with while the link is going on. After a few seconds, the core will get depleted and start to cast Meltdown, which is a big explosion that does a ton of damage to everyone and even more damage to players who are close to the core. So everyone should quickly move towards the middle of the room and use a raid cooldown to survive the explosion. Then you do the same process over again 2 more times with the other 2 cores. Drain the boss to 0, survive a cast or 2, move to a core, move away from the core, then survive the explosion with a healer cooldown. After the 3rd core, there won't be any way for you to stop the Purging Protocol cast and you'll wipe after a few casts go off. Other than that general strategy, there's also some regular mechanics that happen throughout the fight. There's a super basic taunt swap for the tanks, there's a random facing frontal to dodge, there's the typical player gets arrow overhead, player runs away from the raid mechanic, and there's also these spheres that move around randomly and pacify you if you're too close, so you'll have to dodge those as well. These regular mechanics are only really impactful when everyone has to be stacked up in the core shield, because you have less space to work with and you're taking a lot of damage already. But at least they keep you on your toes while you're blasting the boss. And that's pretty much it. Check out the Patreon to get early access to the raid guides before they come out, and join the Discord to keep up with everything ReadyCheck Pull. Peace.